Resource Scholars online and on-air show.
I am years old. So I've been on fire since I was a boy for my people, period. That's what it's about. The Coalition of Black Men, I learned about that at Rutgers University because for me, it was about a coalition of us working together to address these concerns in our community. This has always been about that for me. And so what I would say is I want to just tell one story and I'm done. My first meeting with James Posey, and it isn't about James Posey and Jeff Moore. It's about the truth being spoken. So I'm a young project manager in affordable housing. James Posey meets me. He says, "Hey man, what do you do?" I said, "I'm a project manager in building affordable housing." James says, "You're building housing at their level of oppression." I go, "James, what are you talking about?" He says, "Hey man, if we ain't helping people get a job and get a living, it's a downward spiral to nowhere. They're just saying the same thing." Now, a lot of people get mad at James Posey because he's very frank about what he thinks. I didn't get mad. I was like, damn, that brother's right. And it's the same way I was raised with my foster mother. I didn't like a lot of the way she did stuff, but that sister was right. And that's why my business is named after my mother's, Rubitone Development Services. Ruby is my mother because she had that same kind of fire. So that kind of fire has always been around me, pushing me to like continue to do things for my people. So that's where I am. That's why Rose Quarter and the culture we're talking about, it's that kind of culture, community, commitment, humility.
I was in foster care since I was born. I spent most of my time in one foster home. Proud, upstanding, black foster family in southern New Jersey. They had 10 acres, so we worked like hell. I was in that foster home from 4 till I was 18. I always felt, something was missing. I knew it was my family. When I was a teenager, I just shut down. It was painful. I didn't want to go there. When you have kids, it opens up a different avenue in you emotionally, psychologically. So I went and wrote and got my records. My grandmother was a licensed practical nurse. My grandfather wasn't working. He was unemployed. He was a painter and he'd been laid off. This is all written in my records. But they viewed that my grandmother, had she been at home doing her job, she wouldn't have these girls getting pregnant. Once again, some black family not taking care of their family, the narrative that's being put out there. Deep, steeped racism in terms of how we as black people were perceived. The narrative that my mother was despondent, I was retarded. The people that are evaluating me was, well, he's retarded because he's not responding to anything. Like we're throwing a ball in front of him and he's not responding. And so it said in the records, well, he won't be eligible for adoption. He'll just have to be in foster care. That characterization, no effort to support my grandmother, my mother, me. If there's one thing I give my foster mother credit for is when I was 4 years old when I moved in, she turned on the television and I scoot up right in front of the screen like this goes. She pulls me back and says, "Boy, can you see that screen?" I said, "No." She said, "You need some glasses. That's what's wrong with you. You were just saying you're retarded. You need some glasses." She went and got me glasses and I shot off like a rocket. For black people, that's the experience, that's the narrative that many of us have. And that's what drives me. I don't want folks to have that experience. I want people to be uplifted, nurtured, and supported, have options and opportunities.
So I want to go ahead and get into culture. You all ran out, you gave the demographics and the numbers and everything, but Jeff and Tony and D'Angelo, I just want to know about what is it about you all that makes you all want to do this for the right reasons? And what is it about your Black experience that really gets you motivated to be where you're trying to do this? Why don't y'all just take the money and run? Why don't you just go ahead and get wealth and stuff it in your pocket and run off to Florida or, wherever the hell people go with all their money? Why don't you just get you a rocket ship and go on up in with like Bezos or something? What is it about your culture that makes you want to do this stuff? Because most people wouldn't do this. Most people would go a different way.
I'll start this one off. So for me personally, I'm a third generation Portlander. My mother and my father were born and raised here. My grandmother and my grandfather moved here. And I've been here for 30 years, been here my whole life. I've always seen the Black experience in Northeast Portland. It's where I grew up in. My family's been very involved in the city, whether it be, through various workforce opportunities, schooling, NAACP, what have you. When I was 12 years old, we were actually displaced out of our home on 13th and Killingsworth. And so 12 years later, when I was 24 years old, I made it back to the neighborhood. And now I'm in a place where I grew up at, where people are looking at me like I don't belong. And I understand that the way that happened is, as Jeff said earlier, with, blight and redlining and how they've kind of marked the city and marginalized us. But I also understand that without an understanding of real economics and real wealth, we can't sustain or even own our neighborhoods. And like I said earlier, it kind of forces us to play this game where we're always at the mercy of white benevolence. And so we either have to rent our own home or rent someone else's home or move into a low-income housing trap, which at that point you become the equity of somebody else. So you as a Black person are never allowed to actually have and build your own equity. And that's not a sustainable lifestyle for anybody. If anything, it perpetuates the same issues and the same trauma that we've had done to us historically. So my passion for this comes based on the fact that not only have I seen it, not only was it done to me, but I've seen it done historically. And I understand the historical connotations on how we got here, which a lot of younger Black people don't understand. So we have to bring truth to that. And by being in the forefront of it and being able to do it and show people, they can understand the truth of how we got here and then make a decision to do something different.
Cool.
Okay.
Hey.
So let me add to that. The reason why, I'm gonna say it like the children, there ain't no fun unless the homies can get some, right? This is not about an individual, it's about our community. We are about our community. The same way the Scholar Resource is about our community. James, you've been our community, and the fruit is not in our words. The fruit is in what we've done.
Cool.
So this is about the people. This is about the people. You're right, Posey. I'm in the 1%er. I don't have to do this. I could do all that piece of it, but I haven't had to be in this position for a long time. I've been working to serve the people for 35 years in Northeast Portland. As a youth pastor at Mount Sinai, right? Involved in the whole community, the spiritual community for the last 35 years. I've coached in Cisco Kids and urban sports for 30 years and led Portland Legends. I've been ministering through economics and business for a very, very long time. This is like a lot of you here, a lot of the men here that I've been co-laboring with for 35 years. We've been about our community. And finally, we starting to see some real fruit of that labor in projects like I-5, the empowerment of young men like D'Angelo Money, and all these other young women that we are empowering, men and women that we're empowering of color, that actually can speak intelligently to all these issues because they understand where it's come, and what the Coalition of Black Men are doing, right? And so many other people out here, the Soul District, fighting for the soul of our people.
Yeah. Amen. Right
So
Go ahead.
go ahead, Tony. You want to say something?
Yeah, I can try to keep this tight. So stop me. First, I have to give all praise to Yah. I wouldn't be here without it. I'm a foster kid. I'm the only Black man alive in my family. My brothers are all dead. God has given me the opportunity to be here, period. So I've always been told I got to give to somebody else. My mother didn't say that in my ear. That's been God whispering in my ear ever since I was 18. I'll tell you what's up. Jeff,
Give us a little bit of your history in the context of that, Doug. So we're talking about business now.
So I have a wide-ranging background in community development, but I will say right now I am an entrepreneur. I do own my own construction management services company called Rubicon Development Services, finding it on the same principles that Jeff founded his company, really over a 30-year career, coming to in the last 10 years, working closely with leaders like James and Jeff to realize that wealth creation really is the key for Black men, Black households, Black families to have self-determination for our families and our community. When we have the dollars in our pockets and in our hands, we can make choices for our families. We can make choices collectively to then address challenges that we have in our community. And that is really what a lot of our counterparts do that we don't talk, that isn't discussed. They talk about rugged individualism and working hard. Well, we work hard, but we don't make money. So what that translates to is when we look at things such as per capita income. So for a white family, they earn $69,000 a year. A Black family earns $34,000 a year. Jeff just talked about if you're an 18-year-old entering construction, you can enter the trades earning $40,000, $50,000 a year. So right there, you're already breaking the cycle of economic poverty that we've had as Black people. I can go on and on about the statistics. Our wealth that we have as a Black family is 13,000 years. We're talking about when all is said and done, when you add up all your assets and you subtract everything out that you owe other people, we only owe $13,000 a year in assets. We all know, we can do math, you can't go that far with that. So what I appreciated about working through the Coalition of Black Men, working collectively with the Black community, working with brothers like Jeff and James, and really through my own experience learning this, that really the economics is the key. So that's why even myself, I decided to go to business, because I believed I had to walk the talk and not just talk about business, but owning a business, and also seek to do the same kinds of things. But we also don't work in construction. What I want to talk about is, as Black folks, we work in other industries. We work in management. We work in the service industry. 30% of our work is. 17.5% of our work is in production, factory type jobs, production type jobs. And so it's not necessarily, as I said, it's not like that Black people don't work. Black people work, but we're not working in the field that make money. In construction, we're only 2.3% of the jobs that we're doing are in construction. We're not working in that trade. And as Jeff pointed out, you can, as an 18-year-old, having a high school diploma, can get into the trades and earn a living wage. And one of the things I'm going to close with at this moment on this particular topic is many of us, because one of the things that was discussed was to talk about to young people, talk to our young people. And what I say to my young people is, I know many of y'all are sitting in the chairs in schools holding your head wondering what the heck is going on. Why is not anyone talking to me? Because this system is not built to talk to you. It's built to build our white counterparts.
I spent most of my career in community development, ran a nonprofit that provided business training to minority contractors. I had no problem with working with the contractors. The problem I had was with the agencies that did little or nothing to really help those contractors. The system, it's a brutally racist economic system. Governments and religious institutions, they systematize benevolence. They give us a little piece. We should be thankful for it. We don't really have policies that really recognize the injustices done, in particular to Black people. We're scared to have goals for them because we're scared of this backlash of reverse racism. Oh gosh, if you show that we got to do something different to serve a group of Black or brown people, then white people need to get that too. Even though you got 95% of it, we got to get that too. I've come to believe that the only way we're going to break it is if we set new systems and do it ourselves through organizations and businesses that we run. You know, we do it the right way. We respect people, we pay them well. We build our institutions to serve people in the way that really helps them. I have a small business. It's called Rubitone Development Services. It's actually, Ruby was my foster mother's name, because everything that people see, the work ethic, the value set, is from her. That's what y'all see. I manage construction projects, all in that sphere of Black determination and black economics. I am a behind-the-scenes person. I have been fortunate to advocate for companies like Raimore Construction, whether it's small levels to help them get a small remodeling job, or on larger levels, be on panels to help a minority contractor get that opportunity. Raimore, their owner, I've seen things he did personally that completely aligns with my value set. No one was looking. No one was paying attention. That's the right kind of mindset, the right kind of spirit, the right kind of attitude. What makes a difference? What makes people thrive? What makes organizations thrive, whether business or nonprofit? Respect, love, and grace. If we really embrace what those words mean, I think it can make a world of difference.
Old school gospel, old school blues, old school jazz, and old school hip hop on ResourceScholarsShow.com.